So I got this rear axle from a '95 Nissan extended cab pickup. It's essentially a d21, but it's just called a pickup. The rear end is LSD. Uh, I am gonna install it and replace the stock one here. It's just the entire thing is a ginormous upgrade compared to the stock one. In pretty much every way. The leaf springs, this setup has 4 leaf springs, and they are considerably beefier, thicker, more heavy duty. The one I have on the d21 now on my truck only has 3 leaf springs, and they're noticeably thinner. As always, base model, so there was no reason for them to install anything that was heavy duty or anything like that. But so the weight capacity on these is 3,500, I believe, which is like 1,500 more than this one. I think this one, the springs on this one are 2,000, I believe. Again, LSD rear end, the axle itself. The torque rating on this is 180 pounds. I forget what they are on this one, but they're not nearly as high as what this is. I know that much. The dimensions, in certain aspects, are virtually identical to the ones on my truck. The leaf springs themselves are the exact same dimensions, and they'll be that way from what I've learned. They'll be the same for a certain number of years on these trucks. The distance from left to right is the exact same, or virtually the exact same, as the ones on the d21. The main difference is the brakes, as far as what they'll comparing the distance wise, as while the leaf springs are the exact same distance, which means they're pretty much plug and play. They'll plug in, they'll bolt up to the exact same place as the stock ones. But again, the brakes or the drums themselves are considerably bigger. From the outermost dimensions, because they're virtually the same distance from this perimeter right here that you see. That is the outermost perimeter of the drums themselves, somewhere between 12.5 to 13 inches. And the ones that I have on this truck, on the d21, are about 10.5 inches. So bigger drums, means bigger brakes, and more surface area that is where contact is made, which means greater stopping power, which is all good. Like everything is, an entire setup that's made for a bigger vehicle on a smaller vehicle, that's a good thing. So let's see what else. But again, because the drums are noticeably bigger where the tires will sit as compared to the rear ones, these will sit just a little bit wider, not much, but just enough, which is not too big of a deal. And the distance or length, I guess, whatever you want to call it, from the rear to the front of this portion of the rear axle is at least an inch longer than the stock one. And this also has this harness. I didn't know what it was for. I just snipped it at the end instead of following all the way to the front to see where it went. I didn't know what it was for, but after researching a bit, it is for the ABS brakes. I do know that the rear end on my truck, on my D21, doesn't have this, so really we don't actually need this. So I'm either gonna strap it, tuck it away, or just unplug it, but I'm not gonna like toss the harness out or anything like that, just in case we might want to use it later on. But again, good things about this: more leaf springs, more weight capacity, higher torque rating, bigger brakes. I also took the portion of the emergency brake line that I guess it starts at the halfway point of the truck and then just lines up and bolts on to its respective parts back here, and lets you activate the emergency brakes when you pull your emergency brake handle. So I took those, and I'm glad I did, because this setup is considerably different from what I have right now on my truck. And I already drained the differential oil and replaced it with this Royal Purple synthetic oil, and I've heard really good things about it. Just for my own peace of mind, as always, because who knows when the last time that was done. You never know. This thing is a 95, or from a 95, but she's rolling pretty good. And I did already replace the brakes, or the brake shoes, or brake pads, however you want to call them, the other weekend. So that's all good. I also cleaned up as much of the surface rust from the outside of the drums as well. I still got to do the inside of them, because I do want to paint them. I also want to paint the entire setup as well. And I took the drive shaft as well. Also, just like the rear axle, torque rating on this is much higher than the stock one, and even the dimensions, the width of the diameter is noticeably. It's like comparing this with this. That's a huge difference. For the rear part of the drive shaft. The front portion of it, or half of it, this one and the one I have on my truck are almost the same length as well. I will have to replace the what is this called? The center carrier bearing, I guess. I could be wrong on that. Don't hesitate to correct me. Not that there's anything wrong with the bearing itself. The bearing itself is fine. It's just there's already a piece of the rubber here that's already missing or broken away. And I already got a new one. I just have to install it. I'll have to wait maybe till next weekend, or for a weekend when I actually have a full weekend off, because I want to remove the stock one that I have there now, install this one, not completely mounted, just get it into its spot, and bolt up the leaf springs, install this drive shaft, and see, compare, at least compare it to the one I have there under the truck now. Compare them both, like outside, while they're outside, just the length, just to see what the lengths actually are, because I think this might be at least an inch longer, maybe a little bit more. I'm not sure just yet. But if I can compare them while they're outside, that'll help a lot. And then once I get this mounted or pre-mounted, I can bolt this up, at least the rear end of it, and see what my clearances are. I want to get as accurate measurements as I can. I do know that I'll likely not be able to use this portion. This is the end that slips into the transmission, but this whole getup is the truck I got this from had a automatic transmission, and as you guys know, I'm driving a manual, so again, this will likely not mate with that. So my options are to remove this and install the one from the other drive shaft onto this, and if I have to if it turns out that this is longer, I'll find out what the measurements are, and then go and have it resized, shortened, or whatever, and then I should be able to officially mount everything. But yeah, that's just like one step closer to having like just constant upgrades. Yeah, this thing is pretty nice. It just needs some little bit of cleaning and a good paint job, and she'll be good to go. Also, no, that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. That's pretty much it for that. But yeah, just wanted to share that this little update on this little upgrade, and I'll see you.